What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition to my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're talking about Batman Superman World's Finest issue number 38, and this is the We Are Yesterday event part 1. So after a really long time, it seems like World's Finest is going to start to become a little bit more significant in terms of plot threads, in terms of the current mainline continuity, because it's always been a series set in the past. It's been kind of fun adventures there, but now it's like, okay, this is tying directly into something that is in the present day. Feels like we haven't really gotten something like that in quite a while. I still think the best example was the Neza stuff, like right at the beginning of World's Finest. That's, to me, when the title was firing on all cylinders, like the best it's been. But we're 38 issues in, and it's still pretty solid stuff overall. But there was something about those first few arcs where it just was like on a whole other level. It felt like maybe it's because like I had been reading so many other things. Maybe it was just the Dan Moore artwork, but there was something about it, like it just felt really kind of special. But this looks to kind of start to recapture some of that feeling. And so this is the start of the We Are Yesterday event part 1. It's going to take place in the pages of this book and Justice League Unlimited. And since I've been covering both, this is kind of perfect because it's just one easy storyline to kind of follow. So our storyline begins more so in the past. We have Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent together. Clark is reporting on some Wayne Tech plane, and Bruce, of course, for safety concerns, he has Hal Jordan kind of running, tests on it. And he's like, well, if anything goes wrong, he's got his ring. And Clark's like, oh, actually, Bruce, if you actually went to the Justice League meetings, you learned that he doesn't carry his ring with him when he's doing these test pilot things. He likes the thrill of it all. And Bruce is just kind of like, wait, what? And then something goes wrong, and then Hal's plane just kind of malfunctions in the air. He escapes, and then he just kind of fades out of existence. And it turns out he's being apprehended by the Gorillas of Gorilla City. So it feels like forever since I've read anything like Gorilla City focused. So it feels kind of a little bit fresher to me, like in my mind, like, oh, I haven't read that in a while. So of course, like I said, this is where we get the stuff in the past, and then by the end of the issue, we have the tie into the present day stuff with the Justice League Unlimited. So they make their way to Gorilla City. Gorilla Grodd has basically hijacked the minds of everyone, and he's got all sorts of different characters. He's even got Titano. He even has, of course, King Sullivar. But Grodd is kind of in this catatonic state, and so he also tries to take over Superman's mind, and Superman being like Grodd's major weapon with mind control, like, okay, like that's a legit serious threat that they would have to then deal with. So of course they eventually do find their way out. Like Grodd is kind of knocked back, and it seems like all is well. And you're wondering, okay, how's this going to tie into the present day? Well, it turns out that Grodd is visited by a Grodd from the future who is looking to kind of change the past, because this is like the first confrontation between Grodd and, I guess, the Justice League, or like one of the earliest stuff, like if you can call it that. And so that's where we get the present kind of interacting with the past. And because if you read Justice League Unlimited, you'll know that the whole Inferno group was just members of the past of the Legion of Doom. So it seems like they're going to be pulling, kind of Golden Age, or Golden Age, Silver Age, whatever age, like versions from the past, not necessarily where the characters are at in present time, in terms of the Legion of Doom. And that's where the crossover is going to come into play. So it's going to tie directly into it. So this is where the initial events happen. They happened as is, but then, Grodd from the future comes back, is like, come with me if you want to live. And he's going to, I guess, recruit the Legion of Doom from the past, who's going to end up becoming Inferno, and at least that's the way I'm putting it all together. So, but this is part 1 of 6, so we'll see how the storyline unfolds in here. So there is some funny banter right there. Like I said, it's a straightforward issue. Find Grodd, go to Gorilla City, take him down, and then that's kind of that. Like I said, nothing all too crazy, but the real crazy stuff is more so like the reveal at the end of it. It's like, okay, now we got this time travel element going into the storyline. So of course, Mark Waid wrote this one with Clayton Henry on the art, and I think Clayton's been doing a pretty good job. So as you can see here, there's your Legion of Doom there. So like I said, this ties directly into Justice League Unlimited. If you want to hear my thoughts on that one, you can check out the other videos I have posted talking about Justice League Unlimited. So again, this is just kind of like just getting set in the stage for the rest of the storyline. We had teases a little bit in Justice League Unlimited with the whole Legion of Doom behind Inferno. But now we're kind of tying directly into that and bringing like these past versions of the Legion of Doom to the forefront to unleash hell against the Justice League and all that too. So not sure if these past versions will jump into the future and the complications that'll create in terms of the timeline or anything like that, but this is the first real kind of like event that we're getting in a bit. So we had Absolute Power, but this is one where it's like just kind of crossovers between titles that I'm already covering. So like, okay, it's just one, storyline like that. So that's cool to me. So, because like, whereas we get something like Absolute Power, it just takes over like everything and like, giant event. I don't mind small little crossovers like here and there. That's part of the fun sometimes. But when DC just had this kind of oversaturation with these giant events that just take over everything, where something like this was like, okay, it's like 2 titles and they're by the same writers. So like that, it makes sense why they would crossover. Like that's more fun for me to kind of cover. So, but yeah, like I said, decent first start to this, 6-part storyline. The real hook is kind of coming at the end of the issue with Grodd from the future interacting with Grodd from the past, and we'll see how crazy this time travel storyline gets. If you've read World's Finest, it can get quite wacky. Like judging, there was that whole like 5th dimensional imp stuff, and it just kind of went to different eras, and it just went out of control, wacky, crazy. And to me, that was the fun read. So I enjoyed that one. So I mean, like I said, I've enjoyed pretty much all of World's Finest. There's not been a bad issue within the run, but I feel like I've been kind of wanting for it to kind of pick up a little bit. Like, okay, this is fine, but like let's really go like make it awesome again. Because like I said, like it could have been stronger in certain things, like the storyline we just covered, like, it was totally fine, totally serviceable, but it didn't really like wow me, not like the earlier stuff within the pages of World's Finest. But again, no bad issues of this entire run. So, and when you got 38 issues plus like a few annuals or something like that, so we'll round up to like 40, that's a pretty good, like batting average. So not everything's going to be a home run. You can have a single base RBI, or you can have a single, double, triple, or whatever, but like that's still good. Like you're still like, you got a good average right here. Like you're still no mess ups or anything like that. So, but yeah, good first start. Decent. The funny bit with Bruce at the beginning talking to Clark about the ring thing, like him not realizing because he doesn't go to these Justice League meetings, that was genuinely pretty funny. Like I like the little banter seeing Bruce and Clark interact outside their, caped personas. So to me, that was one of my favorite aspects of it. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the issue. What did you think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to your channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications, other fun stuff. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.